Hey, good morning, everybody. So this morning we're going to go out on a little walk, and I think I'm going to start using some of these videos to not only talk about real estate and the market and, Blairsville in general, Union County, North Georgia Mountains, Blue Ridge. We want to discuss all those things, but some of the things I wanted to do is, talk more about everything that's going on in life. And, some things that are going on in my head and some things that are going on that I see, not only in the world, but, just my personal life and my personal walks that I do every day. One of the biggest and most important things in my life is I'm a follower of Jesus Christ. And I changed my life around in my late 20s, early 30s. Just didn't like the way I was living, didn't like the way that I saw my life ending up. I knew God had greater plans for me. I knew I had more potential to do more things. So I made that commitment to really get to know Jesus and follow him, read his word, and kind of change my life around. So it has a profound impact on pretty much everything that I do. Real estate in general, this is one of my guiding principles that I like to really follow in real estate is, that he has control not only of the big things, hang the stars in the sky and set the earth in motion and create all life, but he also has all the mundane things too. And every aspect of my life I know is guided by how God wants me to live, how he sees my life being planned out, and he's always taking care of us. We're not rich, we're not extravagantly wealthy, we're taken care of. All our bills are paid, we're well fed, we live in a beautiful area, and I'm going to kind of turn it around and see, some of this as we walk, because it's just a gorgeous day, middle of July in the North Georgia mountains. It's earlier in the morning, so probably about 70 degrees, humid. It's always humid in the morning, especially in the summertime. But it's a great time to go out to do a walk and just be surrounded by nature. So, as I was saying, is like, let's see if we can set it up. Kind of do it like this a little bit so we can see it at the same time. One of the things I really struggled with a couple years ago was we were having a hard time with the real estate. And I was struggling with this idea that, if we're tithing, we're doing what our part is. Why am I having such a hard time when people around me seem like we're really getting ahead and doing well? And it was just like, no matter what I did, advertisement, referrals, anything, it's just everything wasn't panning through. And it was really about 3-4 years ago that I remember I was outside in the yard and we were doing the addition on the kitchen and doing a bunch of renovations and getting ourselves into debt. And when we did this, I thought I had clear understanding of like what I'm supposed to do. Real estate's going good, I'm doing well, we have money in the bank, but I just thought I'll dry up. Of course renovations always cost more than what you expect, and it just all went fast. And we're at a point where we're down to our last little bit, and I'm just like, all right, God, what are we supposed to do now? And what was the frustrating is most people can lean on that and be, hey, let's be patient, what am I not doing right? But what I was seeing was a lot of it was God would put it in front of us. Say we'd have a client call up out of the blue, hey, we're really interested in this property. I'm gonna put my sunglasses on too. So, people call up, we're really interested in this property. People I've been dealing with, and I probably haven't heard from in like a year or so. And they're calling up, interested in property. We go down, look at the property, they love it. They're all set. We put in a contract, everything, and it's all good. And then all of a sudden they're like, oh, we didn't realize the interest rates were this high, so we have to get out of it. Okay, I understand that. Next one, I get a listing. We're listing it and we're all doing great. Everybody's coming to see it. People are putting in contracts, da, 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 da. And then all of a sudden, the person that's listing it is saying, we decided we don't want to sell. So it was all these things, like God was bringing us right up to the to the precipice of the deal, like getting ready to close it, where these would solve our financial problems. And lo and behold, they would fall through. And countless. Like, I think at that point, it was like spring. I think between like February and May of that year, I had 4 or 5 deals that just came all the way close to the end and just, just fell through. And it was just so disheartening. And it was just like and I was so angry at God. And I was so angry at, what was happening with it was that, it's like, don't put it in front of me. I mean, I'm a starving man right now. At least that's what I thought at the time. You're in the moment. You're the direst situations. You don't look at all the blessings. You're just looking at your problems. So, of course, I'm telling them, I'm like, I'm a starving man. You're putting the food in front of me and you're throwing it to the dogs. It's like, what more do I have to do? And the more and more it happened, this is what's funny about it is, my faith, and I've had times in my thing where my faith has waned. I'm like, are you even there, God? Are you around? My faith was never shaken. It was just like, why are you doing this? And I was so angry because it wasn't on my timeline and it wasn't what I wanted to do, that, I became just so angry at it. And it was affecting my relationships. It was affecting, how I treated people and stuff. And this was, this went on for like about 6 months. And the closest thing I can relate it to is, if anybody's seen the movie, the show The Chosen, is when Simon Peter at the time, comes back and finds out that his wife had a miscarriage. And he's so angry at God. And he's out there, when Jesus is feeding the 5,000, and he's like, oh, I know you can do it. Hey, listen, I know you can do it. Just why aren't you doing it for me? And you watch that, and when I reflect on it afterwards, it's like, how much more my faith grew in this. And not only that, but also to know that he has it. And eventually we came out of it, of course, came out of it, and we ended up having one of the best years that year, with closings and stuff. But it's just in that moment, you're so frustrated and you just feel so lost and forgotten that you don't go back and look at all the times he has dragged you out, and he has carried you, and he has brought you where you need to be, and things worked out. And I'm just so grateful now that I look back on that thing, because I almost have like a testimony that I can tell people about. And it's more like I can look back at those times and I can say, look what happened here, and look where he brought us that year. And look, and look how much more I had such deep, struggling conversations with God. I mean, I had deep conversations, where I'm pleading and wrestling and felt like Jacob, I'm wrestling, God, and I'm just like, where are you? And I don't know how to say it. Not my love and not my faith grew stronger. My conviction that I was on the right path, and my knowledge of just who he is, and knowledge that his ways are different than mine. And that's such a saying that we hear all the time, is that his ways are different than ours. You got to be patient. You don't know how it is. But it doesn't help in the moment. It helps afterwards. But what it does is, at that moment, it's just like exercising where it hurts, and it's building you up. And you're like, I don't know if I can do it, but you're going to do another set anyways. And you're just pushing and struggling, and you get through it, and you look back and you're like, now I'm stronger because of this. And that was just such a great period afterwards to look back on that I could relate. And I watched The Chosen, and I was like, when Simon Peter is going through that, and I'm like looking at my wife, and I'm like, that's exactly how I felt. I mean, I can't explain it even better than that feeling of, not that you're not there, Lord, not that you don't care. It's that you choose to look away when I need you the most. But he didn't. He took that time, because instead of him stepping close to me, He wanted me to step closer to him. He's always the same. He's constant. He wants to draw us closer and closer. And if we look at it that way, he's going to take care of us. You know, he takes care of the sparrows. He takes care of the grass in the field and everything, or the flowers in the field. He's going to take care of us. We just need to make sure we're doing our part in taking care of our relationship with him. And you know, people out there, husbands, wives, parents, brothers, sisters, everybody's in relationships. You know, whether you're with your clients, whether you're with your, you know, family, whether it's the grocery store person down the street, everybody has relationships. And we're all called to fill the cracks of people around us, love each other as he has loved us. So it's just a reminder that as we build up and stuff, we're helping other people on their journey. We don't know where they're at in their journey. So it's just a good reminder and something I wanted to kind of do for an intro video, you know, for these walks. I'm going to try to do this like every day or every other day, and we'll put them on there. And we'll do some other neat things. You know, I'm open to ideas right now. I think we only have like a couple subscribers, and I'm trying to get this video out to all the people in, you know, the whole World Wide Web. Trying to get everybody to, you know, be a part of it like everybody else, so we can increase our influence. But I don't know really what it's gonna evolve. This whole thing is gonna evolve a little bit. I want to show you this too, just how glorious this is. This is what I get to walk to every day. This is Lake Nottely that fills up on the edge of our property. Persimmon trees. We get cow fields all up there. The lake's down a little bit now, but it's just, this is where he called us to. And maybe tomorrow we'll do a little bit more of a video on that part of our life and where our real estate journey began. And you know, we'll sprinkle in some other ideas with market updates and stuff, you know, all the basics and everything. But really what I want to do is I want to have this channel be more kind of like my journey in real estate, in life, my faith, my journey with God, my relationship with Jesus, you know, interacting with people around here, my kids, my wife, my parents, you know, I want it to be that too. I want it to be, you know, a big preview of that. One of the biggest things that I did, I went from, and we'll get into this more another time, is that I went from working in a car dealership where it's making great money, you know, but never around my family, to get into real estate where we did take a come, but God has provided us in real estate where now I have all the time that I need to spend with my family. I make my own hours and stuff, and we've been great. I mean, God's very much supplied for us. So, you know, I'd like to get into more of that idea of like living for the now instead of the future, cherishing the moments, you know, and instead of always chasing goals, basically like trying to take your retirement now instead of always planning for your retirement later on. I mean, having both. We're going to talk about both of them, but this will be the first step of it. So I'll leave you there. I want you to just see how I never get enough of this. Every morning I walk this. I start my day with a good walk, and it's one of the best things I've ever done. This is just a beautiful area. So we'll talk later on. We'll, you know, touch base more in the future, and you guys want to make comments and stuff, and hopefully we have a little bit more interaction, how we want this channel to develop, and hopefully become something. Well, until then, God bless, and feel free to reach out for any questions you have about real estate, about life, or anything like that. Not that I have any of the answers, but I have some. And really, I like to just open dialogue with people, and maybe we can work all this out together and see what makes sense. So until then, we'll talk to you tomorrow.